An enigma is something or someone that is hard to describe, it's puzzling, or it's difficult to understand. Like most men think women are an enigma, right? We have no idea why you guys do what you do or act the way you act, and it's puzzling to us.
No, it's the allure. Hi, I'm Shauna, and this is my husband Pete, and we are Golly Family Discipleship. We're both ordained ministers with the Church of God, and we ask you to come into our home every day, study the Bible with us. We are on Hebrews chapter 7, verses 1 through 3, and I'm going to read those, and we'll get started with the discussion. This Melchizedek was king of Salem and priest of God Most High. He met Abraham returning from the defeat of the kings and blessed him. And Abraham gave him a tenth of everything. First, the name Melchizedek means king of righteousness. Then also, king of Salem means king of peace. Without father or mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life, resembling the Son of God, he remains a priest forever.
So we've mentioned this name before in the last chapter it come up, but here it gives us more details about this character named Melchizedek. We know the author of Hebrews is establishing that Jesus is better than so far the angels, so far the prophets, so far the priesthood, but then he mentions this Melchizedek, which is an eternal priest, and we start to see that this character is an enigma, has a whole lot of mystery wrapped around him. A couple weeks ago when we were studying this in our personal Bible study at home, Shauna Googled it and a Wikipedia article came up, and there is literally dozens of things that people think this man or individual could be, or who he represents. Some think he's an angel, some think he is a literal person. Different things.
So many.
It could be an appearing of Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. So you think about that and this enigma or this mystery that wraps around him. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about him.
Right, so the details about Melchizedek is that he is both priest and king, right? That can be pretty odd.
Right, because we know that was a separate thing in the Old Testament covenant, right? There was priesthood of the Levites, and then the kings come through the line of Judah. So there was a separation. They never interacted with each other as the same person doing the same task because they were for completely different families.
Right, and then the name, King of Righteousness, King of Peace. What we have to understand, going back to priest and king. Pete mentioned that the Levites were not the line of kings, but they were the line of priests. But this was even before that was established. So there is such an enigma still about this man, this king of righteousness, king of peace.
Mm-hmm. And you know, those two terms that are used to describe him, king of righteousness, king of peace, that's not a term that we would use to describe a normal individual. That's not a term we would use to describe any human being, because we know that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Those are terms that are used to describe who? Jesus Christ, right? So that is but we're talking about this character Melchizedek. You go on, it says he has no father, he has no family history, he has no beginning, he has no end. He resembles the Son of God and remains a priest forever.
Right, so no one inherited his priesthood. No one changed the fact that he was a priest or would have gone on, right? But this is why he remains a mystery, because so many things about him are not about natural man.
Right. And you know, the author of Hebrews, this is the first instance where he compares Christ to someone and doesn't say Jesus is better.
Right.
He just says he'll continue in the same order as Melchizedek. So you look at all those things, and you have to think that he has a divineness about him, kind of. You know what I mean? He's different. He's not an ordinary person, especially with the traits that the author mentions here. But one thing that we can do, no matter who you think Melchizedek is, if you think he was a natural-born man, if he was an angel or whatever, he points us to Jesus Christ. That's his purpose, right? His purpose, the author brings up, is that Jesus is going to function in this same role as Melchizedek did in the Old Testament. Jesus is going to be the eternal priest and king for the righteous people.
It's amazing that in our life there is always a setup. God always has a purpose for everything that's established. And just this small encounter in Genesis with Melchizedek and with Abraham is something that there's so much emphasis on in the book of Hebrews. There is so much emphasis to let the Hebrew people know who Jesus is, to help reveal who Christ is. God does so many things on purpose. I taught a lesson one time about Zacchaeus and the fact that there was a tree there for Zacchaeus to see Jesus. That tree was there for purpose. Melchizedek is there for a purpose, and that purpose is to help reveal who Christ really is.
Right. We know this letter was written to a group of Jews, and for him to bring it up, they would have known who Melchizedek was. He would have been a part of their culture, a part of their lore. So it was someone they were familiar with, and talking about him. Going forward, remember, there's 4 things we believe you should do every day. We want you to encounter God, exalt God, edify yourself by reading the Word of God, and engage this world for Jesus Christ.
Until next time, God bless you.